Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In more of the Visions, let's do a tier list ranking of all of the Selection Quest units that are out now in JP, along with all of the Handout units. I thought doing a tier list of just one or the other would not be enough, so we'll just jam them together here. And then I'm not going to include the medal units that you can get in Global, like Jiza or Sasayaki, people like that. You can check my other tier lists to see what I feel about those characters. And then, just a warning up front, I do not have hands-on experience with a lot of these units, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, but I did as much research as I could. I looked at rankings, I looked at just random like Twitter people talking about these units, YouTube people doing reviews, just kind of general like people's thoughts on these units. Okay, but let's start at the bottom. First we got Niche or TM. Maybe these are characters that are not worth taking to EX jobs. Or in the case of Thancred, we can't take him to EX jobs yet. But of all of the reruns that are possible, it sounds like Final Fantasy XIV is coming next, based on what developers have said recently. I don't know if we can expect it within this year. Things are going to get busy from now. But maybe after Final Fantasy returns and then Thancred comes back, gets EX jobs, I'll talk about this list again. And next is Etua, and then a lot of the MR units, especially the Handout units, I'll be placing in Niche, because they'll be good for selection quests, and it would be worth taking them to EX jobs if you're struggling with those, like I was with the Earth ones, and then I EX'd Etua. But yeah, I don't know if you'd ever use her outside of like PvE, tower, selection quests, so yeah. Okay, next is Christmas Ramada. This is a stand-in for Tyrell. There was no option for Tyrell in this tier maker, which is very sad. But I'm going to put him in here as well. If you have trouble with the water selection quest, might be worth taking him to EX jobs. If you did, I would stop at 115. I checked the 120 skill, not that great. However, I do want to say about Tyrell, he is a main job knight, and there are very few of those in this game. I don't know if they're ever going to release another one because it's kind of an outdated job. But having both the AP and TP breaks is super useful for PvE. And if you don't have any others, like Sasayaki, whom I recommend very highly, or like Balo or Lilith, then taking Tyrell to 99 I think is a good idea. Okay, next we have Summer Kiton, who's also not a Handout unit, but this is to represent Yashutra from Final Fantasy XIV. She also does not have an icon here. Again, she's not available to take to EX jobs, just like with Thancred. But again, maybe I'll make this list over again later when they get their EX jobs. I still really like her, and I intend on using her in the Fire selection quest. Alright, next is Verune. She is the reward unit for the Lightning selection quests, and she's the only one here down in Niche who might not be worth taking to EX jobs. She is a main job Lancer, so she does great damage, and then she's kind of similar to Edide in a lot of ways. Low agility, average movement, kind of limited range, so she does the damage, but she's difficult to use, which is why I don't recommend taking her beyond 99. But of course, a bunch of people in JP went all the way with her, because she is a cute blonde girl. They love those in Japan. Alright, next is Krace. All of her skills that she gets with EX jobs are not necessary or great. There's a funky one at job level 25 where she can lower jump, but I don't know if it's worth all the materials and then the farming to get that for her, so if you have her at 99, maybe leave her there. But she's a very interesting support unit, and then a Trustmaster is good too, so I think it could be worth leveling her for that. Okay, next we get to Good 115. These are decent choices to take to EX jobs and then stop at 115 because their job level 25 skill is not amazing. But like in the case of Mont here, it's so easy to get his shards. If you can spare the materials, then he's definitely good at level 120. But at 115, he will get the upgraded Stone Throw, which is maybe his best skill, so that might be all you need from him. Okay, next we got Kamiro. His job level 25 skill is the Magic Barrier. And then he's one of those rare characters who is attack scaled but good against magic users. But his niche is pretty narrow. He's good against Helena. I never really see him used, or I never hear him talked about. So he's a lower priority than some other guys. Next we have Miu. She is the one that I want to work on next. But being a support character, she heals and then buffs. I don't know, she's kind of lower priority, but also higher priority. Like attackers, unless they are like top tier, like a Hatcher level, then they're not worth working on. But support characters, like it doesn't matter their stats, and so her being a selection quest unit is not so much of a demerit. Her job level 25 skill is Ultima, which sounds amazing, but it doesn't do a lot of damage in the end because her magic value is not that high. So that's why I recommend maybe stopping at 115 with her. Okay, next we got Ramega. He is the Dark Selection Quest unit. He can evade, he can punch. His damage is not anything amazing from what I hear, so it's kind of like, why use him? But I also hear that a EX job Shadowlynx can solo all of the Dark Selection Quests, so he might be one of the easier Selection Quest units to unlock. Alright, next we have Corwell, who was a Handout unit. I like him on paper, I'm working on him actually, but I think a lot of people were turned off by him because he does not do good damage. You can't really think of him as a damage dealer. But any character with sniper is automatically interesting to me, because they have like Barrier Break and Dispel. They could be interesting as a kind of a support breaker in the right team composition. So for that reason, I don't mind like if he has lower stats or if his damage output is not very good. And then his job level 25 skill, I think it was damage based, which you don't need him for, so I could leave him at 115. Alright, next we got Rafaru. She is the Ice Selection Quest unit, and she is not graded well, but I'm very interested by her. I might even want to go and get her. But she has like a mix of both Sniper, which I like, and then Assassin. Assassin can do some good damage close range. She can evade a little bit, but not a lot from what I hear. But the thing that might be most interesting about her is that she is another attack-scaled character that can go well against magic users. And then Agrius, she's also kind of like that, so if I were to get this character and then get EX job Agrius, they might be an interesting start to a team, a kind of a magic hunting team. So her too, I don't know, I might want to start working on her. Okay, next we got MR Ramada. She is a stand-in for the Water Selection Quest unit, who also does not have an icon here. This is Reiches, that samurai, that magic scale samurai girl. She is also not rated very high, and then the problem with that main job, the magic scaled samurai, is that it has kind of low range. But an interesting thing about her is that she has good berserk resistance, so she might be a good counter to Mont. I want to work on the character just because I like her look. I like her rivalry with Salia. So yeah, she's maybe another one on my shortlist. Next is Shiruma. She was a Handout MR, but she's kind of a UR in disguise. Pretty good damage, and then nice support as well. I was really considering putting her in top 115. But yeah, I like her. And then I'm leaving her in a good 115 rather than good 120 because her job level 25 skill is an attack resistance AoE buff, which is cool, but maybe situational and maybe not worth the materials. Okay, next we get to a good 120. These are decent choices where maybe it would be worth taking them all the way. But we have Mediana first. With her, she is a bomb, so you want as much damage as possible out of her, so you do want to take her to 120, I would say. She has a bingo board in, I think it's both Global and JP at this point, so she's technically a Handout unit. Next we have Fina. I think she's still a Handout unit. But with her, she might be one of the best MR units in the game, especially if you can put her in the right team. Maybe Mono Light is best for her for PvP. But great partner with like Jaden and Engelbert. I see that team a lot. And then job level 25 skill for her is excellent. It is a ranged, magic-scaled projectile attack, so kind of hard to defend against, and really improved with like Jaden's team buffs and then also the Jaden vision card. Alright, next we got Shadow Lynx, another of the bingo board handout units. Again, one of the best MRs in the game, and then can single-handedly clear the dark selection quests. Next we got Demude, and then she's great. I have some experience using her. A lot of people in a high-level PvP for some reason enjoy using her. But she's kind of like the dark healer, but also lots of nice time magic. And then her job level 25 skill is the Haste Ja, which is really good for her, so I do recommend taking her to 120. Best in mono dark teams, so if you have a dark strong account, I can very much recommend her. Next we got EX Cecil, a handout unit in global, but not in JP, but we'll put him in here since I'm making this video for global players. He is kind of an odd one. He does not have top tier attack. He is not really a tank, because he doesn't have any hate generation abilities. But interesting bruiser, a little bit of support as well. I'm iffy on his barrier giving ability, which is very interesting, but it's only good against physical attacks, not good against magic. So that leaves it kind of limited. But he is solid. I would still like to pull him here in JP, and then his job level 25 skill increases his damage. He gets some defense penetration or something, and it's like 2 hits, range, I think it's AoE as well, so pretty good attack for him. I'll put him in a good 120. Alright, next we're getting to some of the better choices. Here we have Lucio. He is kind of like a beginner's unit because you beat some story quests and then you get him, and they give you all the materials to raise him, so it's very easy to take him to EX jobs and beyond. What's funny is that as of the making of this video, you can't take him to 115. He stops at 110. But I'll put him in top 115 anyway. But he's cool. He can do some tanking. He can do some attacks. He has like a 3-hit ranged attack where you can change it from a slash attack to a strike attack to a pierce attack. So he could be good for different raids, could be good for different Trials of Reckoning, stuff like that. So yeah, solid character, and then he's not even at full power yet, so yeah, I think he'll be pretty good. Alright, next we got Prompto. He is no slouch compared to all of the other collaboration handout units. And then he's at 115, but that's not to say that 9S and Tita are better than him, just that his job level 25 skill is maybe not as good. So you could save yourself the Vision Ore to buy his shards. But just like Tifa, very worth putting into the barracks to slow build them, to take them from 115 to 120. But he has very good range, he has interesting breaks, he has a very unique skill where he can draw characters in, just like the Helena vision card ability. And then he's got like Dark and Peril, so he would be good for raids, maybe set up your other dark characters, so really good character. And then we have Tifa. People can tell me if her job level 25 skill is great or not. But yeah, she's top class, one of the best characters in the game, regardless of handout or hatcher or whatever. Alright, finally we get to top 120. Here's my beloved Muraga. But for attackers or tanks, you want to take them to 120 just because they benefit from like really high stats more than any other characters, and he can do both. So yeah, versatile character. And then in my most recent top 30 run in Arena, he was really good in there. He's my pick for the best selection quest unit overall. Okay, next we got 9S, another top tier unit from a collaboration. His level 25 skill I think is worth going after. It's a break of some kind, I forget which one, but it really improves his character. I think it's Pierce Resistance, which is a rare break. And he's got like typeless attacks, and he's a bruiser. He's really good overall. Alright, next we got Gargus, and he's very popular in JP. I keep hearing people using him and talking about him. He has a very long range with his magic attacks. And then one thing that I think a lot of people forget is that he has a specialized vision card. That Apple vision card that he shares with Durando, but it gives him a giant magic boost. It gives him shorter casting time, which is maybe his biggest weakness. So yeah, if you have that Apple card maxed, it really improves Gargus, and yeah, he's also on my short list of guys that I want to get and finish. And then his job level 25 skill is another long range AoE attack, so great reason to want to max him. Alright, and then finally we have Tida. I think he's still top tier. Part of that is his versatility. He can tank, he can attack, he can evade, he can do lots of different stuff based on how you build him, so I think he still deserves to be at the top there. Okay, I think that will do it for this list. I will maybe redo it once Final Fantasy XIV gets the EX jobs, and it's going to be very interesting to see what they do in the future with selection quests, if they will do a second wave and then do another 8, 1 per element. Also, it'd be interesting to see if they ever do like Handout UR Hatcher units, like Demude or Corwell. Those are the only 2 of those type. They were not very popular here in JP because they were taking up space in the Hatcher. And Shidama too, she's a weird one. It'll be interesting to see if they ever release another MR unit again. Alright, thanks for watching and we'll see you again. Take care.